I know I talk a lot about Christian fascism, and I know some people find it, beginning to find it kind of irritating, but I can't not talk about these issues when they come up because I see it as to use a phrase, a clear and present danger to the continuation of this republic as one having representative government, is sort of. I realize it's not totally representative. Of course, I realize that. But that is because of the Christian fascists also. But they are making their move. They had 4 years of the Orange Vomit, who is one of the most disgusting human beings in America. Forget about being president. But they had 4 years of him to open the doors to all the chaos and indignities and hatred and violence and viciousness that has been just below the surface in this country for so many years, whether it's anti-Semitism or racism or anti-immigration or anti-everything except militant, belligerent, ugly, hate-filled, so-called Christianity. And this is reaching kind of a peak here just 19 days before the alleged, it's not, but the alleged birth of what the Christians consider to be their Messiah, their Savior, their little baby Jesus. But I digress. When I cover Christian fascism, it is with a purpose. Religion is something that most media people are not allowed, seriously, not allowed to talk about. Now, I'm not talking about these Christian broadcasting scum who fill the airwaves with terror and doom and bullshit and lies. And I'm not talking necessarily about the Fox Sewer and Onan News and Newsmax and the rest of these sump pumps where their allusions to Christianity are thinly veiled, if veiled at all. But they're all working towards the same goal, the destruction, the utter destruction of this democratic republic and the replacement of such with Christian fascism. Other religions have their viciousness and their violence. That's why I, fault every religion. But I can't think of one more bloody and destructive and horrifying than Christian fascism. I just can't. And I've been around for a long time. And a million years ago, when I was at I think it was either I guess it was NC State. I took a course in comparative religion, just a one-semester course, no big deal. And it was during that course that I started to learn some eye-opening things about religion in general, but Christianity specifically. And that was over 50 years ago. And since then, I've tried to read as much as I could about this horrible thing, this horrible construct, this murderous, bloody, violent construct called Christianity. Pretty scary. Keep in mind, my grandparents were, my grandmother anyway, was a devout Christian. I loved her. Loved her to death. She was my grandma. I only had her till I was 14. She was a Christian, a Baptist. And she believed all this hellfire and brimstone shit, but, as a little kid, up till, a middle teenager when she passed. And, I loved her. I thought she was wonderful. Old world, who had converted to Protestantism in order to assimilate when she got here from Italy. But I don't remember, because it never happened, either of my grandparents espousing a kind of Christianity like this. Now, kind of an update. Last week, I think I posted on my Twitter feed, Mike Malloy Show is the Twitter feed, a picture of a family posing with guns. There were like 4 kids and the mom and dad, maybe 5 kids, or maybe a married in-law, maybe one of the daughter's husbands or something. But there were 5 or 6 people in the pictures, and they all had long guns. And the long guns looked to my untrained eye like AR-15 type weapons. And they were all sitting there with a Christmas tree behind them with a shit-eating grin on all their faces. And the caption under this hideous photograph, and this was just a few days after the 4 teenagers were killed in that shooting at a Michigan high school. Then this dumb fuck posted this picture on Twitter. But it said, the caption said, "Merry Christmas. Please, Santa, please bring ammo." Now, I made some comment when I posted the picture at my Twitter feed about this sick son of a bitch and this ridiculously violent family, all of whom are Christians. And it wasn't until last night I found out that the man, the father, the husband, the filthy son of a bitch sitting there with his family around him, is a U.S. representative from Kentucky named Thomas Massie, a member of Congress from Kentucky, Representative Thomas Massie. Massie represents a solidly red district in Kentucky. And he posted the picture of himself and 6 others holding firearms resembling an M60 machine gun, an AR-15 semi-auto rifle, and a Thompson submachine gun. A campaign manager for this rotten fucker, a guy named Jonathan Van Norman, campaign manager for the pig Massie, did not reply to a request for comment from the Reuters news agency via Twitter. However, Democratic U.S. Representative John Yarmuth, who chairs the U.S. House Budget Committee, he is a representative from Kentucky, condemned this. Yarmuth said, quote, "I'm old enough to remember Republicans screaming that it was insensitive to try to protect people from gun violence after a tragedy." He was referring to calls for gun control laws. He added, "I promise not everyone in Kentucky is an insensitive asshole," referencing this filthy pig who sat there with the pictures 4 days after the kids had been killed. I spent some time trying to understand. I also had a course in abnormal psychology, again, a 1-semester course. I never followed through on any of the studies I had at university level. I went to 4 different colleges. Big fucking deal, right? But the courses I took were fascinating. And the one I took on abnormal psychology talked about border person disorders and so on and so forth. And I became kind of intimately familiar with the terms, with the definitions of those mental diseases, to the extent that it was very easy to identify someone like, the orange vomit, Donald Jesus Trump, as having that condition. And when I see pictures like this guy posted, this representative posted, of he and 6 of his family members holding fucking machine guns, an M60. Do you know what an M60 can do? I mean, an M50 is what during, I guess, not just World War II, but Korea, maybe Vietnam, that's what was mounted in a Jeep, an M50 machine gun. One of these fuckers was holding an M60 and a submachine gun and an AR-15. Please, Santa, bring us some ammo. Oh, it's just breathtaking. It's astonishing. And this guy goes to church, he and his family. Oh, I don't know this to be true, but I will guarantee you If he is a representative from a Republican district in Kentucky, this rotten fucker goes to church every Sunday. Every Sunday. Please, Santa, send us some ammo. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcasts. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.